So what's required for the practice today? Some kind of support. A block could be coming in handy. If you don't have a block, as usual, just find maybe a solid cushion or something that helps you with the practice today. It's the block is mainly used to either sit on or rest on, so you get an idea of what might be useful for you to have. And we will be working with a mantra today, hence there will be music playing in the background. I will in a moment briefly tell you what this mantra is about, and then we go a little bit deeper over the course of the class. So your mat can be in whichever way you choose it to have today. And we will start lying down on our backs. So if you do prefer any type of cushioning, you could have that for a moment. We use the time lying down in something like a Shavasana shape, just simply being comfortable. If your legs out long, would like some support, you could pop a bolster underneath the knees, or you could do it as I am demonstrating, keeping feet on the ground a bit wider and then knees dropping in. And take your time now, just shuffle around for a moment, finding that little bit of extra comfort as the shoulders begin to rest towards the ground, the arms a little bit drifted away so that the shoulders can actually come to rest. If it's possible, you can close the eyes. Otherwise, just staring at a solid spot on the ceiling. And to arrive in this practice, take a deep breath in and then have a very long sigh out of the mouth. And I invite you to repeat that a couple of times, as if you could breathe in some lightness with the inhalation, and then breathe out some groundedness, some deep relaxing into the body. Another breath to complete that practice. Before, as always, I will ask you to bring attention to your body. Acknowledging all that you can find within your body. Going a little bit into the opposites, as you might find the hard surface touching you as you lie on it. Softness of air and fabric that touches you. Feeling any type of tension in the body. And on the contrary, feeling areas of the body that are perfectly relaxed and soft. Noticing the cooler air coming in through the nostrils. The warmer air on the exhalation. I'm inviting you to lightly deepen your breathing, but to keep your body in a relaxed state. The mantra I'm playing today and its different variations is the Sarva Mangala mantra. There's a lot of Sanskrit words in this mantra. I won't go into these Sanskrit words, or all of them. If you are interested in that aspect of it, you can always look it up. So it's the Sava Mangala mantra. This mantra is translated loosely into, O Mother of the universe, of life and of love, O Shakti of Shiva. You fulfill the wishes of your devotees. You with the three faces that are earth, sky, and what lies beyond. All that I am, all that I have, I offer to you. While we in our yoga practice might not worship deities, we still incorporate their qualities in our practice. This mantra, or Shakti and Shiva, with the focus being a bit more on the feminine Shakti, is offering us protection, confidence and comfort, especially in times of change. And we'll look into the mythology. These two, also called Parvati and Shiva, have their own love story, just like Radha and Krishna do as well, where the two aspects of the masculine and the feminine come together. They represent the inner journey to wholeness. And this is then in turn what yoga is about. Wholeness. Making us whole. Accepting that we have all these different aspects within ourselves, within our life. And we're there to master the wholeness, the balance between the two. Maybe there's something in there for you today to find your inner balance, harmony, to feel protected. We will start with a movement that we often practice, but we will begin doing so on our backs. So that's a little bit unusual. I would love you to just take your hands onto your heart space, resting them there, and then sliding one hand down towards your power center, the belly. And I would ask you on your next deeper in-breath to let the hand from the belly open up, and you might turn your head towards that extended arm. And then as you're breathing out, bringing head to center and the hand back onto the tummy. And when you're next inhaling, let the other arm open away from the heart and looking into the palm of the hand. And as you're breathing out, touching the hand back to the heart. Make sure the shoulders are relaxed in the center. And we'll keep doing so for a few breaths. Starting with the hand on the belly from your inner center of strength. As we open that up, and then use a bit of the strength as we bring the hand and the head back to center. And then opening out our heart as we're turning towards the hands. And on the exhale, bringing that back into center. Do so a couple more times with each hand. Then pause your hands once completed for a moment in their position. Make sure the shoulders are soft and relaxed. You could momentarily close the eyes again or steady your gaze. We will repeat this movement for another 3 rounds, but we're bringing in the seed sounds of these energy centers. So on the inhale, we'll be open the hand away from the belly again. And on the out breath now, silently or aloud, chanting the sound Ram. Then we inhale to open away from the heart. And on the out breath, the sound Yam. Let's continue inhaling Ram. Yam. Ram. Yam. One more. Ram. Yam. Resting that again in the center. If you've got a bolster underneath the knees now, please remove that. Just stepping the feet onto the ground from here. Let the arms lightly fall away from the body, and just to loosen up a bit around the pelvis, lower back. Let your knees rock from side to side. Just the preparation for our deeper lying twist. So inviting you from here to just roll over onto your right hand side and touching the hands together at about shoulder height, the arms extended away from your body. We'll allow 3 of those movements and we're resting the third. So while you let the upper hand slide up the arm and brush across the heart space, opening out. We'll use our power center to pull that arm back into place. Inhaling as we're opening our book out wide. And exhale, we use the power center to touch again. This next one we will hold open for a moment. If you feel that knees are drifting open and that's uncomfortable, pop your support, the block, or whatever you're using in between the legs. The gaze might be over towards your left hand, but you could also close the eyes here. Allow yourself to inhale deeply and to allow a soft, long sigh out. The end of the exhalation, really engage your tummy. pull your knees back into the center, rolling all the way over onto your left-hand side. And again, arms extended about shoulder height, palms touching. We're taking an in-breath, the hand on the top slides across the arm, the chest, and we're looking over. Engaging the core as you pull your arm back to touch. And inhale, sliding again to openness. And exhale, pulling yourself back within a strength. The next time that we're opening up, we're holding here. The gaze might go into the right palm this time. You could again have a support between the knees. Otherwise, just resting here, shoulders grounded. Deep, full inhale. Long, soft sigh out. As you use your inner strength again to pull your knees back into the center. Then letting your hands come down by the sides. Your fingertips just lightly sliding under the lower part of the buttocks. Elbows are bent out towards the sides. Stepping the feet a little bit further away. We're using our inner strength on the next exhale. Tuck the chin in, press down into the forearms, into your hands, rising up to sit. And we'll begin our seated shape in Dandasana. We'll place the hands down by the sides, flexing the feet, finding a nice and tall spine. The hands there on the side, touching the floor if possible. Maybe the engagement of the legs can lift the heels off the ground, but you can lower them down any time that is required. Just allowing the connection to the floor, to the ceiling or the sky above you. And you might then bend your knees. If you want some support, taking your block and placing it underneath. I would ask you to have a shuffle to get that same sensation or a similar one to how it felt to sit in that staff pose. So trying to find ease within your seat. Let the shoulders roll a few times backwards and then forward. And then let's turn the palms of the hands up as we take a breath in to open our front body. And as you're breathing out, tuck the chin in towards the heart. Place one hand back onto the tummy, one onto the heart space. We'll do that again as we breathe in, opening up. And as we breathe out, getting back in touch, coming to our center. Only one more like this as we breathe in to open. And we're breathing out to touch. Lifting the head from here. If it's something that feels really nourishing to you to have your hands touching your body, please keep them there. If it isn't, you can rest the hands down. Oftentimes I ask you to place the backs of the hands down, and if you feel that's appropriate because you need that openness through your shoulders, keep them this way. For concentration, could you touch your thumbs to your index fingers? You might as well choose to turn the palms of the hands down, still keeping your fingers touching. A gesture that allows you to focus more inwards, which is what we will do right now. So when you are ready, please close your eyes. And start to tune back in. Noticing the body sitting quite comfortably, feeling a grounding sensation in the body, a connection of your base towards the earth, while your spine is lengthened, and feeling a connection of your crown towards the sky. Now bring your awareness to your breath, just as it is at this very moment. Begin to notice as you deepen your breath. No particular pattern today, just a deeper breath. How there are spaces between the in and the out breath, between the out breath and the in breath. Acknowledge these pauses. Maybe even noticing the different qualities that these pauses have. The one after you filled your lungs, to the one after you emptied your lungs. The breath is deep and full, and you're paying attention to the pauses. If you are feeling comfortable with the pauses, hold your breath for a moment in each of the pauses. Between the inhale and the exhale, and also between the exhalation and the inhalation. Bringing your whole awareness to the spaces at the end of each breath in or out. No strain in the holding of the breath. In an exhalation, still full. Once you are very familiar with the pause, let go of the hold, but keep the awareness with the pauses and let the breath be more natural, inviting you to meditate on the space, the pauses between the breath. As you let everything flow, the inhalation, the exhalation, there's still steadiness in every pause, after every breath, as well as space. I'll leave you with that for a moment, looking into the pauses, the spaces between breaths. Relaxing into this flow, focusing on the space, the void, the stillness. Let your mind come to rest after your next out breath. Release your fingers if you were in a mudra, turn the palms of the hands up again. And as you're inhaling, opening the arms, maybe opening the eyes. And on the out breath, bringing your hands back to heart and power center. We'll place our hands down now, removing any support that you might be sitting on and finding our way towards the front end of the mat. Just taking your time to go there. We will keep playing with these opposites as we begin a practice that feels at first like a sun salutation, something that makes us whole and brings us in together in the movement. And then we will keep a bit of a flow, one that is more like a dance and one that represents the strength. So while you're inhaling now, extending the arms and your gaze up to the sky. And while you're breathing out, soften your knees and reach down towards the earth. We'll do that a few times while you're breathing in, reaching up towards the sky, using feet to lift from. And while you're breathing out, moving down towards the earth. So that for another round, breathing in to reach for the sky. Breathing out to reach for the earth. With your next inhale, come to a half lift, that space between. And when you're breathing out, step your right foot back. You're very welcome to bring your knee to the ground for this practice. If you keep the knee away from the floor, soften it. As we're rising up from here to stand, we're taking a big breath in to lift the arms up over the head towards the sky, then bending the elbows behind the head. And then let's flow that forward. The arms reaching maybe to the front, then swirl them around. Bend the back knee again as we're lifting up. The hands touching behind the head, an open heart. Playing around with your balance as we're leaning forward, the arms offering, then swirl them around and rise again as you're lifting. Hands might come behind, the opening through the heart space. And then reaching forward again. Bring them around as you bend your knee. Reach up. Hands behind the head. Flow one more time. Maybe pause for a moment with the hands behind the head. And then release that forward and down. Stepping back into a downward facing dog And you might choose to paddle out through your legs, moving through the arms. With the next inhale, then roll this forward to a plank or a kneeling plank. On the exhale, lower down towards the ground, or find your way onto the floor. We're taking the fingers out wide, grounding down through the tops of the feet, and as you inhale, wave up through the upper body. Let the shoulders shrug down, the elbows be relaxed, and have your dance here as you're dropping the right shoulder down, looking to the left elbow. On the inhale, centered wave. On the exhale, left shoulder drops, looking to the right elbow. Repeat that twice more to each side. When you come after your rounds back to center, release that down completely. Even bring your hands in, rest the forehead onto stacked hands. Maybe touch your big toes, let the heels fall out. The body come back into stillness. And allow a few breaths where you're focusing on your breath expanding along the sides of the body and into your back. As you're so very aware of the pauses, just acknowledge them as they come up. 2 more breaths. As we allow after the 2 breaths, the feet to separate, the hands to slide down by the sides, push yourself up onto your knees, tuck your toes, either stay on all fours or lift the knees back into downward facing dog. With the next in-breath now, bring a bend into elbows and knees. And with the out-breath, step your right foot about 1 meter forward. Ground down through the left heel. Have a hip distance stance between these 2. And then take a breath in as we're lifting up for warrior 1. So the right knee is bent here at the front. We're grounding down through the left heel. And then we're taking down the left hand to place underneath our power center with the palm facing up. We're making a fist with the right hand, but keeping the thumb out of it. And we're bringing that right down into the palm of the hand. Have a little pressure going on here between the palm of the hand and the fist. Your front knee is bent and you're grounding down through the heel and the outer edge of the back foot. Firm stance where the arches are lifted. Now we're adding a movement here. With the inhale, release your fist and stretch up, but make a fist with the other hand and pull the elbow back. And as you're breathing out, return back to the mudra, palm open and kind of pressing the fist and the hand together. We'll do that while we're straightening the front leg. On the in-breath, reach up, maybe your gaze to pull back with the fist on the other side. And then exhale as you're grounding back into the warrior shape with your strong arms. On the inhale, pull back and reach up. On the exhale, press back down. We'll go for 2 more. On the inhale, reaching up and pulling back. On the exhale, grounding pressing together. One more. Mudra that represents the strength of Shiva. Releasing this mudra as we step to the front of the mat, just reaching the arms up towards the sky. And while you're breathing out, your knees are soft, touching back down to the earth. We'll do that again as we're rising up. Use your feet. Inhale to reach for the sky. Exhaling to touch the earth. One more round, breathing in to touch the sky. Breathing out to reach for the earth. On your next in-breath, lengthen for a half lift. On your out-breath now, step your left foot back. You can have your knee on the ground or the knee off the floor. In that case, the knee is soft. We will reach up into our lunge, touching the hands together, placing them behind the head, maybe lifting the heart and the gaze. Go back into our dance as we're reaching forward from here, offering, then swirling it around and taking a big breath to return to hands behind the head, open chest. And then let's keep that flowing. 3 more from here. And we will hold our next one with the hands behind the head if possible, keeping a bend in the back knee, the heart lifted. And then we will release that towards the mat, bringing the hands down, stepping the foot back for a down dog or all fours. And while we're inhaling, rolling forward to a plank or a kneeling plank. And on the out breath, lowering down onto the mat. Let your arms come down alongside the body this time. Take a breath to lift the legs, the head, the chest, the arms. And see if you can flow this a little rather than hold it steady. In a bit of paddling gently through the legs, moving a bit through the hands, fingers, arms, shoulders. But hold yourself lifted if possible. And then release that. As you bring your hands forward, maybe we can find out which hand was on top and we'll change that. To rest the forehead upon and then touching big toes together. Being aware of the warmth that might come up in the body now. As we engage in 3 deep breaths, expanding into the sides and the back of the body. Whenever you have completed those 3 breaths, you will separate your feet again. You will slide the hands back down by the sides of the ribs and then pushing yourself up to all fours, either to stay here or to come into downward facing dog. Now let's inhale, bring a bend to elbows and knees and let your left foot come about 1 meter forward on your mat, stepping the right foot down completely as well. Keeping the angle of the foot so the hips can easily face forward, the distance between them about a hip width. We're reaching up as we push into the ground, finding our warrior 1 as we're lifting up from here. Maybe the gaze is even lifted. And this time it's the right hand that we bring down with the palm facing up, resting just underneath our power center. We're making a fist with the left hand, keeping the thumb extended. And we'll bring that down into the palm of the hand and really just pressing down into it, creating a pressure between lower hand and upper fist. Movement will be the same, so we're changing hands over while we're inhaling to extend the fist hand up and make a fist with the other, pulling the elbow back. On the out breath, we'll come back to the mudra as we press down into the hands. Now let's extend the front leg as well. On the inhale, reach up, pull back. On the exhale, come back into the mudra, knees bending. 3 more, inhale, pull back, reach up, maybe even with your gaze. And exhale to push back down, ground into your strong warrior. On the inhale, pull and reach. Exhale, come back in. Don't forget your strong arms. 1 more round. Inhale. And exhale. We will reach the arms up as we're lifting the front foot forward. On the in-breath, looking up towards the sky. On the out-breath, bend your knees, touching down to the earth. We'll do that once more, inhaling, reaching up to the sky. And exhaling, touching down to the earth. Asking you to come down to sit from here. Bringing your legs out in front of you. Returning your body into Dandasana or the stuff pose, where you're feeling grounded through the sit bones. The hands are by the sides of the hips, the ankles flex and the toes are pointing upwards. Stay with that connection to the ground and the sky above your head. And you might bend your knees from here. Shuffle around so the sit bones can ground towards the floor. If you want a bolster under the knees, feel welcome to have it there. Otherwise, on your out breath, start and find your way forward. You could also have a little cushion underneath your buttocks if you need some support here. But you can have your knees bend as much as you like, just taking care of yourself as you lower your nose, your forehead towards the knees. Allowing yourself to keep the palms of the hands on either side of your legs and touching the ground. Come back to deeper breathing, lengthening the out breaths and maybe having that slight pause now, again, between your breaths. You could even move the body a little as you create a gentle wave when lengthening forward. And then folding deeper when you're breathing out. Keep it like that for a few breaths. If you've been moving, hold yourself steady for a few breaths. We will come down onto our backs. I'd like you to have your support near the mat before you're rolling down. And if you would like to put your socks back on, that's fine. But you might want to rather keep them down by your sides. Maybe putting the jumper on if that feels right as you lie yourself down onto your back. Once you're down, set your feet in nice and closely, leaving the arms along the sides of the body. Coming into a bridge as you breathe in, just tilting your pelvis and squeeze the buttocks and lift your hips up for this bridge. Hold it here as you draw your tailbone up towards the backs of the knees, keeping the strength in the glutes. But if you're comfortable to hold here, you can open the arms and turn the palms back up towards the sky. And even in this pose, we've got a strong connection down into the earth, the ground underneath us, and the wide openness towards the sky. To make it more comfortable to hold, you can use your block either flat or up. And we're placing it underneath the sacrum. So it can take away the strength to hold the shape. You might even step your feet down to a more relaxed place. Let your shoulder blades be reasonably close, and you contract the shoulders under a little bit to get there. So the heart space stays open, the power center stays open, and our groundedness is happening through the support and the hips. If you're not comfortable with this extension, you can always lower the block. If you're too comfortable, you can always bring the block up a bit. And I'm inviting you to just slide the right leg out for a moment. Noticing how this extension feels for you. Coming back to the idea of noticing tightness and parts of the body that are at ease and relaxed. As you step the right foot back down, maybe exploring the centeredness. There's an option to slide the left leg out. Stay with yourself. Notice these opposing sides that exist even within us. To step the left foot back down. There's an option, and if your block is higher up like mine rather than flat, I choose to hold on to the block, and you might want to do the same as you take your feet off the ground. And then extending the legs upwards. Even if the block is halfway up, it's possible to find a balance where the weight sits centered over the block so the block doesn't tilt. And if you can find that space, then you can release the block and opening the arms up. You could press up through the balls of the feet here, engage into the front and the backs of the legs, as if you wanted to touch the balls of the feet towards the ceiling above you. So quite active in the legs. But then allow the feet to relax and even wiggle the toes for a moment to do so. Bring a light softness into the knees while you're holding your inversion. Bend the knees loosely in towards the chest. If your block is a little bit up, you might take a hold of it just to make sure it doesn't tilt. And then placing one foot down after the other, grounding the feet into the mat, keeping them about hip distance. Squeeze the buttocks again to push your hips up into the bridge while removing the block from underneath and just rolling down very slowly onto the floor. We'll apply a very gentle release as we wiggle the feet out wide and touch our knees together, leaving the upper body at ease and relaxed. If this isn't sufficient to release, please feel welcome to rock the knees from side to side or to give the knees a hug to the chest. Then allow yourself to extend into Shavasana, your resting pose. Support yourself as much as you would like to. Feeling warm, grounded, nourished. Now with the body back at ease, I will today guide you through the relaxation. So as you are resting, we'll bring back in these two aspects, the masculine, the feminine. Begin to observe the different sensations on each side of your body. Starting with the right-hand side of the body, observe all the sensations present on the right side. And you could start right up from the feet, your legs, hip, right side of the torso, right shoulder and right arm, right hand and fingers. To the right side of the neck, the right side of the head. Spend a moment on the whole right side of the body, the sensations you can feel. And then come across to the left side, left foot, left leg. Feel the sensations. Left hip, left side of the torso, shoulder, left arm, hands and fingers, left side of your neck, left side of the head. Or you rest the awareness on the whole left side of the body for a moment, feeling into the sensations there. Now begin at the same time to visualize the left half of your body as a Shakti, the feminine, the creative, feelings of bliss and pleasure. On the right side of the body, the same time as Shiva, the masculine, body strength, your strength, structure, the alignment, breath. Left side, the feminine, right side, the masculine, as you see that at the same time. Imagine that the left half of your body is filled by the divine feminine. Sense the qualities of the goddess in that half of your body. Beauty, devotion, playfulness, charm, sweetness, nourishing love, erotic tenderness, gracefulness, and feminine strength. Imagine the right side of the body is filled with the divine masculine. Feel his energy in the body. Sense his qualities of stability, steadiness, penetrating intellect, clarity of vision, peace, vastness, ruthless swiftness, masculine strength. And now let your attention move from the feminine side to the masculine side of your body. Notice the difference. Feel these two sides of the divine nature held within you. Sense them held in balance in your own body. The masculine and the feminine in union within your body. Balance of masculine and feminine in your own whole being. Resting in this awareness of wholeness. Feeling complete. being whole and complete within yourself. As you bring awareness back into your space, ground underneath you that you can feel, sky above you that you can sense in the space around you. To lightly begin to deepen your breathing and start back movement. Have a stretch if you like. If you prefer to roll over to your side, you can do that. Or if you prefer to sit up over the front of the body using strength, you could do that. And when you do come to sit, I invite you to rest the open hands down into your lap. Eyes might be closed. And as you breathe in, let's open the arms one more time, lifting through the heart. And when you're breathing out, touching again your power center and your heart. A light bow of the head. As we acknowledge these two opposites within us, united, to allow us to move through our day with strength, as well as keeping it smoothly flowing. From an aspect of wholeness, we're extending to each other. Namaste.